Good evening and thanks for watching Times News with me, Wonder Msisia. First, the headlines. The Anti-Corruption Bureau will question former President Peter Mutharika on 27th July. The 192,000 doses of AstraZeneca are expected to arrive within 6 days. And Malawi's education sector is facing a deficit of 60,000 classrooms. We have these and other stories. Please stay with us. The Anti-Corruption Bureau has shifted the dates for the planned interview with former President Peter Mutharika to 27th July. ACB spokesperson Egrita Ndala says the interview will be conducted virtually in observance of COVID-19 preventive guidelines. Blessings Mpinganjira reports.
According to Ndala, the Bureau was expected to start interviewing Mutharika on Monday 20 July over allegations of abuse of his taxpayer identification number when he was serving as president. Ndala was not clear on the reasons of the postponement, but she was quick to say the interview will be conducted virtually on the 27th of this month. Lawyer for former President Peter Mutharika, Samuel Tembeno, confirmed the development. It is alleged that between 2018 and 2019, Mutharika's tip-in was used to import 800,000 bags of cement duty-free worth 5.1 billion kwacha.
Ministry of Health says the 192,000 doses of Oxford's AstraZeneca, which failed to arrive on July 15 due to logistical challenges, are expected to be in the country within 6 days. While not being specific, Secretary for Health Charles Mwamsambo said other doses of vaccines are also expected to be in the country from this month to September. Details in this report by Patience Lunda.
Mwamsambo said all is set for the vaccines to arrive in the country, which were already purchased through United Nations Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, and were being stored in Copenhagen in Denmark. According to the ministry, a total of 300,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine are expected within a fortnight. Another consignment of 360,000 doses of AstraZeneca is expected between end of August and early September, and 332,000 doses of Pfizer will be arriving between now and end of September. Mwamsambo added that the tracking of side effects and benefits from the newly introduced vaccines will be done through a team that has already been set up.
Every vaccine has got to be tracked. We'll have a recording of who's received what. Emphasis should not just be on the side effects, but also you monitor the benefits.
National Organization of Nurses and Midwives of Malawi President Shouts Simeza said the delay in bringing the vaccines has an effect on their efficacy and will likely create scramble for the vaccines. However, Simeza said there is also a possibility that other people have been frustrated with the delay and may not be willing to get jabbed.
The delay means that those that received the first dose and were due for the second jabs, the efficacy of the first jab now is going to be challenged and compromised because it is wearing off. The vaccines normally work well when they augment each other.
This far, at least 385,242 people have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine in the country, and only 43,165 people have received both doses of the vaccine. The country, as recommended by the World Health Organization, needs to vaccinate 60% of its 18 million population.
Vice President Saulos Chilima has called for speed in rehabilitation works of a rail line between Limbe and Mark in Msanje and construction of rail bridge at Makanga in the district. Chilima visited Limbe train station where he appreciated construction of a container terminal before visiting Nansadi Bridge along the railway line. His tour of the rail line ended at Luchenza and Chilima went ahead to inspect upgrading of Cholo Tekelani Muona Road leading to Luo Bridge at Mankanga. Chimwemwe Mangazi has filed this report.
Where I stand is in Fatima, Nsanje district. This you see behind me is Ruo River, and the works being conducted here is construction of a bridge that will connect Makanga rail station to a road that is being constructed here, the Muona Cholo Road. Now, the expectation is that once this bridge is constructed and completed, and the train station, the rail line between Limbi and Maraka in Nsanje, where Malawi borders Mozambique, the expectation is that the country will reduce the money that is used to import strategic commodities into the country via the road, because using the road is more expensive than using the rail. Now the expectation is that people from this vicinity will be able to get jobs as the country is reducing on the cost of transportation of the strategic commodities once the rail line is operational. Vice President Saulos Chirima has toured this project and urges the contractors to work with speed to make sure that this becomes a reality soonest.
We can't overstay in a site like this. We need to move on. There's so many roads, there are so many bridges and so many other things that need to be built. There is enough contractors out there, and therefore, if we can pick up pace, we should be creating jobs. We should be creating businesses or business opportunities for many people.
Nakala Logistics Director Gustavo Stein said the works have delayed due to the COVID pandemic.
Based on the chronogram we have, the works were going fine. We had some delays, of course, on the beginning of this year because the rain season, so we delayed a bit. But the companies they are working with us, they are going on time. As I said, maybe the confusion can be about the Limbi, the Nikaya Mishinji project, but about the Limbi Sandama, we are going on time.
When all is said and done, Malawians are eager and patiently waiting to see these dreams being realized and make sure that the money that Malawi uses to import strategic commodities is used in other avenues.
Malawi's education sector is facing a deficit of 60,000 classrooms, leading to many pupils accessing education under trees and dilapidated structures in some cases. The problem is coupled with another deficit of 83,000 teachers. Matthews Kasanda has the story.
The shortage of classrooms and teachers is contrary to the education sector investment plan that recommends a teacher-pupil ratio of 1:14. Civil Society Education Coalition CSEC recently disclosed that the ratio goes as high as 1:100 in some schools. CSEC Executive Director Benedicto Kondowe suggests that the government should come up with long-term plans to construct additional classrooms. Kondowe says learners are motivated when they learn under trees and other unconducive environments.
If government had a clear plan, by now we should have reduced the deficit by perhaps half. But what has happened over the years is that government has not been able to pay attention to this issue. So even if the government may be able to put up 1,000, for instance, additional classrooms, the deficit is just huge.
Director of Education Planning in the Ministry of Education, Francis Joao, says the government will start the construction of 10,000 classroom blocks in December this year. Joao added that the government has already constructed some 500 additional classroom blocks in some districts in the country.
The Livingstonia Synod of Church of Central Africa Presbyterian has asked Democratic Progressive Party leaders to humble themselves and apologize to families whose relatives were shot dead by police during July 20 anti-government protests. Livingstonia Synod General Secretary Reverend William Tembo said the apology would heal the wounds of the bereaved families. Our reporter Sam Kalimira has filed this report.
Tembo was speaking during this year's July 20, 2011 memorial service that was held at Zozo Cemetery in Mzozo City. The Synod leader said that can be the beginning of a new chapter of peace and unity amongst Malawians.
In times of crisis, there should be a moment when someone should be able to say, I'm sorry. That's why I would have loved if the DPP were represented here, because if they were represented, it was going to be a sign of reconciliation. The families that lost their beloved ones should have been able to hug with the DPP people here.
But DPP spokesperson Brownie Mpinganjira asked time to consult before responding to the matter. Speakers at the ceremony from Malawi Congress Party, People's Party, UTM, Alliance for Democracy, Freedom Party, and People's Transformation highlighted on the need for Malawians to embrace democracy. Former President Kumbo Kachali, who was guest of honor, stressed more on unity among Malawians.
It is our sincere hope, and through my request and indeed the request of everybody else, that we would like to have a monument. And what we write on that monument is never again. We don't want Malawians to go back and experience this that happened long time ago.
Meanwhile, Minister of Civic Education and National Unity Timothy Ntambo has assured the families that they will be assisted once the National Peace Commission bill is passed when brought to Parliament in November this year. Over 9 people were shot dead by police as they were demonstrating against the then DPP government under the late Bingu wa Mutharika.
You're watching news at 8 on Times Television, TTV, and Times 360 Malawi Facebook page. We'll be back after this short break.
Like every mom, you want the best for your child.
Happy birthday.
You feed her mind and nurture her body. And you understand there are times you have to let her pick herself up when she falls. You make sure she knows the joy of sharing happy moments with family. And when everything comes together, you above all others will share the taste of success with her. Blue Band tastes like mama's love.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Nalero, bwenzaniko ngongole mosavuta. Send money to any bank or any phone number. Just dial *247#. Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. You're watching news at 8 on Times Television, TTV, and Times 360 Malawi Facebook page. Civil society organizations have called on the government to reduce huge investments in the fossils and shift towards the use of renewable resources. Civil Society Network on Climate Change, CISONEC, and Oxfam say the government should also consider channeling the carbon level resources to address critical challenges facing the energy sector as subsidies. Matthews Kasanda has the details.
According to Sisoneg and Oxfam, the extensive use of fossil fuels has exacerbated adverse environmental problems such as deforestation, leading to climate change. They have since said the government should use the carbon levy to subsidize the cost of liquefied petroleum gas, which is considered expensive for an average Malawian. In a statement that the two organizations have released, they further argue that there should also be taxes waiver which prohibits most companies to venture into clean energy sector. Earlier this month, Minister of Finance Felix Mloso clarified that 3.5 billion kwacha carbon tax levy collected in the 2020-2021 financial year was channeled towards climate change management activities at the Ministry of Forestry. Mlosu said the balance as well as the funds collected would be ring-fenced as agreed between the Treasury and the Ministry of Natural Resources. The government introduced the carbon levy in the 2019-2020 national budget with an aim of channeling it towards the protection of environment.
The Ministry of Gender says it is finalizing enforcement of policies that will issue penalties and punishments to individuals and companies infringing on the rights of people with disabilities. Minister of Gender Patricia Kaliati says her ministry is currently working hand in hand with the Malawi Council for the Handicapped Makoha in enforcement of the policies. Blessings Mpinganjira reports.
Kaliati says the policies will address the challenges of abuse and stigmatization that people with disabilities encounter in silence. She says the policy will ensure that employers are building disability-friendly structures, which remain a problem in Malawi following non-compliance. The policy will see companies and individuals paying up to 1 million kwacha penalties.
Yeah, it is with Makoha and making programs for them to start doing it, especially to infrastructure in Malawi, where the infrastructure is not disability friendly. We've been talking, and we have the policy in place about the disability infrastructure, which is supposed to be disability friendly. And people are not even bound by whatever the policies are about.
Currently, the Ministry of Gender is working hand in hand with the Malawi Council for the Handicapped.
And now, 2 days after Times carried the story of Saube Kandeu, a young man who was born without hands and feet, campaigned for health education, sanitation and hygiene, Kahesh has come to his rescue by taking full responsibility of his fees so that he can complete his training in electronics. Kahesh Executive Director MacDonald Kalua said the organization decided to come to his rescue after noting his challenges. Thomas Kajere has been following this story and now reports.
Kahesh Executive Director MacDonald Kalua said the report on Times moved their organization, hence coming in with assistance. He said there is need for Malawians to come together and assist those in need.
Kahesh works with people with disabilities, and we were touched when we were watching this story about Mr. Kandeu on Times TV. That should be on Friday. So he was appealing for assistance from well-wishers, which we felt we as an organization, we could come in and assist our fellow colleague. So we have mobilized resources and funds worth about 150,000 waja, which will help him in the payment of his tuition fees, as well as his accommodation and also his food welfare.
In his reaction, Saube said he was delighted with how people have reacted to the story in his favor. He then thanked Kahesh for coming to his rescue by taking full responsibility of his fees at Sanweka.
Titokoze Times osalizana ndi Thomas Kajere amene anazapanga ripoti kuti
I'm thanking Mr. Thomas Kajere and the entire Times crew for bringing my story to light. Let me also thank Kahesh for coming to assist me when they were touched with the story. May God bless them all.
Saube Kandeu was born with no wrists and feet, but despite his disability, he is able to do other things like everyone else.
University of Malawi has spoken against over-dependence on foreign-produced COVID-19 preventive materials. The university acting principal, Samson Sajedu, made the remarks after handing over personal protective equipment which the school has produced to some public institutions in Zomba and the surrounding districts. Isaac Salima was there and has filed this report.
University of Malawi, formerly Chancellor College in Zomba, through its research department, received a 59 million water support from United Nations Development Program aimed at increasing production of COVID-19 equipment. The researchers have since produced the items such as hand sanitizers, disinfectants, face masks, which they have distributed to Zomba Central Hospital, Kirazuru, Majinga, and Zomba District Health Offices, schools, and Road Traffic Directorate. The university's acting principal, Samson Sajedu, said institutions of higher learning in the country have shown potential to come up with local solutions in times of crisis, hence the need to be supported.
Surely, what I would want to say is that can we encourage each other as Malawians to be very proactive in ensuring that we come up with homegrown solutions to our challenges? Because if we are over-dependent on, international or external support, we have seen an example of, for example, the vaccines that we got from India. Now India cannot provide the same because they are overwhelmed with cases amongst themselves, and therefore they would want to use, their vaccine to protect their own people. What that means is that we can't get the vaccine from them anymore.
Zomba Central Hospital Director Matthias Joshua hailed the university for the support.
We have a lot of shortage of these things, so we are very sure it is going to do a great job to our hospital. As you saw in my speech, we have plenty of cases now in the city, and we have so far now admitted 33 cases who are in the wards at the meantime, and 64 cases were admitted.
The university said it has produced other items for commercial and can supply to those willing to buy in large quantities.
And that item concludes the news, but before we go, the headlines once again. The Anti-Corruption Bureau will question former President Peter Mutharika on 27th July. The 192,000 doses of AstraZeneca expected to arrive within 6 days. And Malawi's education sector is facing a deficit of 60,000 classrooms. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe. You've been with me, Wanderer Msisia, wishing you a lovely evening and continue watching the rest of the program. Good night.